Hello there, doctors. In the last episode, we show you how to import from ChatGPT into Claude. Now, the most important part that is most often neglected is how to prompt the AI so you can get the best result. There's such thing as poor prompting and there's such thing as good prompting. And today, Mike and I are going to show you how to prompt the AI to get the best result. Okay, Mike.
Yeah, so prompting has improved. We used to call this prompt engineering, where you had to like have the perfect prompt to start out to get the results. AI has gotten smarter, it better understands what you're actually asking for, but there are still ways that you can improve it. And it's like you said, poor prompting. What is poor prompting? Is when it's vague, when it's missing context, when it's unclear about the desired format. A good prompt is specific, it gives good examples, it states the goal, and tells Claude exactly how you want the answers to get structured. And I'm using Claude because that's my AI of choice these days. But the same thing applies to if you're using Perplexity or ChatGPT or Manis or Grok or whatever. So, what is an example of a poor prompt? A poor prompt would be something like write about marketing. That's so generic, it's not specific at all. It's too general. It doesn't know where to go to. And actually, if it's a good AI, it's actually going to prompt you to find out exactly what you're asking for. A good prompt would be something like write a 300-word LinkedIn post for physicians about why telemedicine improves patient access. Use a professional but warm tone, include 3 bullet points, and end with a one sentence call to action. Okay? There's also poor follow up prompts. Poor would be make this better. Good one would be rewrite this email to sound concise and confident for a patient facing audience. Keep the meaning the same, remove filler, and return only the final email. So you see the difference? I'm much more specific. Recently, I've been using prompts putting out something. I actually, one of my favorite ways to do it is I say, okay, how would you rate this output that you've done on a scale of 1 to 10? What could you do to make this better? And I've gotten so much better responses when I use something like that. So, what makes prompts work is when it responds best when you're clear about the task, when you have the intent, the audience, and the output format. When you use examples, so for complex or nuanced requests. And it also helps to say what you want Claude to do rather than what you want it to avoid. Does that make sense, Anne?
Yeah, and also I want to add that ask the AI to ask you, like, ask me clarifying questions to make this better. So allow AI to ask you questions as well, because sometimes if the more detail you feed it, the better the output. I've learned that, and it really helped really restructure the outcome that I want from that chat.
Yeah, I'm going to share with you guys a structure that is a kind of a simple template, but it's almost like every time you use this specific structure, or at least have it in mind, you're going to have better prompts. So the first one is role, where you say you are a regenerative medicine physician, you are a expert marketer for a medical clinic, you are a accountant. You give it a specific role, what you want the AI to do. A task is do this task, whatever you want it to do. So you do role, task, and then the context. Here's the background. I want you to write about how telemedicine can give patients more easier access, but the background in it is I want you to be very cautious about not going into using medical advice or anything like that, that HIPAA or privacy could be in jeopardy here. Constraints is the fourth one. Constraints is where you want to limit the length, the tone, the style, or the sources. How do you want this to sound? Do you want to sound very formal or professional, or is this more friendly? Like I'm going to be recommending some information to my siblings or something like that. What is the style? Do I want to be over the top like a auctioneer, or somebody bombastic, or do I want to be soft or mild mannered? You determine what you want to do. Here are sources. Are you going to be adding? I always like to add as much more information as possible. When I talk to my students, is how do you improve the output that you're giving it? I've given examples of transcripts that I've done on articles that I've written, and I've attached it to it so it understands the way that I write, the way that I talk, and it just makes it sound, especially if it's coming from you, It just makes it sound much more like you. And then what kind of format do you want the output in? Do you want it as a PDF or a Word document? Do you want it in a table format or with bullet points? Do you want it verbatim, or do you would just want talking points if you're giving like something like a webinar or a podcast? And then give an example. So a good example of what this would be like this. So use that simple structure: role, task, context, constraints, format, and example.
We're also going to put this format for AI prompting in the Doctor's Online Success School group. It's free to join, but we're going to put this in the classroom tab. So if you join and then you go to the classroom tab, we're going to put this prompt format as well as from the last episode, the prompt to input into ChatGPT so that way you can export the information to another AI LLM. I just want to make sure that our listener know that they can get these format and everything in Doctor's Online Success. Go to the link down below here or go to the URL doctors with an S onlinesuccess.com and you can get all these resources for free that Mike is talking about.
Awesome, awesome. I guess one, to end with, one rule of thumb is if you don't feel like the output is up to standards, or it's weak and it's just not where you want it, it's usually because the prompt that you're giving is just too broad. The more that you give it specificity, intent, give good examples, it'll give you something. It's going to train the AI to learn more about you, so it has less room to guess.
Absolutely. And also know that AI can see pictures, can read text as well. So you can always input in text for more context well too. And also ask it question. Can you make this better? Like Mike said, can you make it an 11 out of 10? What more clarifying information you need from me? And I guess one of the questions I want to ask you, Mike, is that how do you know that the output from the AI is good? Because oftentimes I just feel, oh God, it's pretty good. So how do you know it's good versus excellent?
Again, it's just similar with what you talked about. When I see it, I don't know how to put it into words. It's just like usually I'm using output when it's like talking, it's using it as my voice. So I'm using it in terms of blog articles, using it as talking points for my podcast. Really, what it comes down to is like if I see it, I go, does that sound like me? That's really what it is. Does this sound like the way that I would talk? And if it sounds formal, if you know me, and I'm not very formal or very stuffy. I'm very colloquial. I'm just shooting from the hip a lot of times. Sometimes it gets me into trouble, but I understand it's like, is this the way that I would talk? And if it's not, then that's why I'm teaching the AI to like, it has like thousands of hours of like podcasts that I've done, transcripts from YouTube videos, articles that I've written. So it has all of that information. And when it looks like it sounds like me, or if I don't, I haven't have like my assistant read it. It's just, does this sound like me, or have somebody else look at it? But usually I'm a pretty good judge of like, this is not the way that I would talk. I would not use these words on there. Make it sound more like me. And then I keep giving it more information, more PDFs, more sources, so it can better understand me.
Absolutely. And that's a good point. I don't do that as often. And oftentimes I find that sometimes AI output can be a little long. So I always ask it to make this shorter, make this in concise, and make this so that way a fourth grade can understand this. Because when you're writing content for a non-clinical audience, you have to put it in context that's easy to understand because it's just easier for people to understand when you talk in language that they don't have to think about. And so ask it to write like that. So I oftentimes ask the AI to make it concise and to simplify it. But I do want to input this. You are the final output, meaning you are the final editor. So whatever that AI output, you still have to go in there and scrub it a little bit before you finally publish it.
Oh, 100%. And that's what I teach my students, especially as physicians. We've got a little bit more on the line on here than non physicians out there, especially if you're in an area where you're doing health topics on there. It's really important that you read every single article or output that you put out there before it goes out. At the end of the day, it's your license on the line, not trying to scare you on there. But because we have that degree, we have to be a little bit more cautious about what's going on there. So, my rule of thumb is any single article or output that you're getting out there, you, the human, needs the final judge before it goes out.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you guys find this is helpful. And we're going to go just do a little tidbit of tips per video. So you can actually listen to this and go home and implement and comment our YouTube channel if you have any questions or if you've been doing it, how well is going. And also join our free Doctors Online Success group to get the prompt. And there's so many resources in there, and Mike and I have created the AI for physician business and how you can integrate AI to save you time and money in your personal and in your practice as well. And right now we have a cohort going on, but there's also a course now in there in the classroom that you can check out. And what we're offering is that a course and then an interactive Q&A where you have one-on-one assistance. So we hope that you can check that out and let us know what you think. Anything else, Mike?
No, I think we're good. So yeah, look forward to seeing you in the school group. It's been last time I checked, I didn't realize how much stuff we have in there. There's a lot, there's courses, there is a lot of good information, and probably more importantly, is we're building a like-minded community of healthcare professionals who are looking for ways to build extra income outside of their clinical career. So if that sounds like you, please join us at Doctors Online Success.
See you in the next episode.